The first time I took a cold shower, I couldn't handle it at all. I saw all these videos online about cold showers. I got really hyped. So I turned the temperature all the way down, just stuck my hand in, and I immediately pulled it back out because it was so cold. I kind of convinced myself to do it, so I just jumped straight in, and after literally 1 second, I jumped straight back out, turned the heat completely up, so it's warm and comfortable, and showered normally. And I felt really disappointed, like a little bitch, because I just couldn't get myself to really doing the cold shower. Today it's very different. I look forward to them almost all of the time because not because I'm really comfortable with it, although I've gotten more used to it, but just because I know of the benefits and I know that afterwards I will feel so much better. So in this video I'm going to tell you about all the benefits that I've noticed, and not the ones you see online that you can Google everywhere, like it improves your blood circulation or whatever, but actually the ones that I've noticed that are very specific. I'm going to tell you in what way it really changed my life, and that might sound like an exaggeration, but it really isn't. It changed my life. I will also guide you through getting more comfortable with it, so you don't just get in the shower for 1 second, but actually more than that. And I will tell you all the tricks that I used that helped me get consistent with it, which was actually not really that difficult. And by the way, I'm still doing it to this day. This morning I woke up and immediately did my cold shower. So this is not a I tried X for 30 days video. I'm actually still doing this. But first, let's answer the question that many of you might be asking yourself right now, and that is, don't cold showers really just decrease my gym gains, my hypertrophy? And there is evidence that cold exposure, like an ice bath or a cold chamber, does actually decrease your gains, but only if you do it like shortly after your workout, and you will not do it shortly after your workout, the cold shower. And in addition to that, a cold shower is not as extreme as an ice bath or something like that. So you do not have to worry about that decreasing your gains in any way, because it simply won't. Before I did my cold showers back in the days, it's actually quite long ago now, my morning routine was horrible. And I mean that I woke up at like 6:50 for school, to my alarm, just grab my phone, watch some YouTube shorts. 7 o'clock, I'm still tired as fuck, not at all ready to do anything. And my mom comes in for the third or fourth time to wake me up, remind me that I still have to eat breakfast. So I just grab my bowl of cereals, sometimes not even brush my teeth because I don't have any time, and then just walk to school, still feeling like shit basically. And also most of the time I was I was late as well, so yeah, not really good. And I'm pretty sure you can somewhat relate to that at least. My morning routine now is very different. As soon as my alarm goes off, I immediately get up, and my brain's not really fully working yet, and I feel still really tired, even if I slept well. But I just grab some new shorts, AFK walk into the bathroom and hop in the shower, put the temperature all the way down, and it just does its magic. The moment I get out, I feel, sort of reborn. I'm really energetic, and I feel like conquering my day. My brain is just turned on instantly, I still feel a bit tired. My eyes are not really that open yet. I don't know, probably can relate, but my brain just works. It's just sharp, and I can do the rest of my morning routine easily. And I just woke up, but I don't feel like it at all. So a cold shower in the morning, every morning, completely transforms how you feel in the morning and how your day goes afterwards, because it leads to an easy morning routine, more motivation. You're not late for school if you go to school, so you're not wasting your time after that. I've struggled with a sort of minor depression every now and then, and I always felt particularly empty and nihilistic in the mornings, after waking up. And I was always like, what's the point of all this? Do I really have to get up? Can't I just stay at home today, And that was probably due to my dopamine being fried. You probably know dopamine, so I don't really have to explain it, but it's really addictive, you know this. So the more you're used to it, getting your fun out of these instant gratification activities, like, for example, TikTok or YouTube Shorts in my case, the less you're motivated to do anything else, because there's no dopamine to get there. You feel no motivation to get up in the morning because of that. Well, let me tell you something, and because there's another hormone called endorphin, and that is the one you feel when you're, for example, running for a very long time and you suddenly feel, you're very tired, but you feel good again. You feel like really you can achieve this, and you feel this sort of high, the runner's high, it's called that. That is triggered by endorphins, basically. And when you take a cold shower, you feel that same rush. You gain this happiness and this pleasure, and that lasts way longer than dopamine, and it's also way healthier for you. And this is because your body releases endorphins when when you're exposed to extreme colds. And because of that, there's evidence that this can actually work against depression. And it certainly helped relieve my symptoms, and this was also proven in some studies. So if you've been fighting depression, or maybe just to prevent it, cold showers will 100% help with that. A bit over a year ago, in the winters, I was really sick for weeks. I've always been sick fairly often, but the winters always, they just hit hard. And everybody has a cold or flu or whatever, and there's runny noses everywhere. Everybody's blowing their noses and coughing and all that. Everywhere you look, there's just sick people. And since this winter, where I've been doing my cold showers every day, I've actually not been sick once, not a single time. And, I had a runny nose every now and then, but probably only because of allergies. And I've not even had like a mini cold, not the slightest throat pain or anything like that. And I know for some people this may be very normal, but like I said, I was always very sick. I always had something, at least like every month. Of course, this might just be a coincidence, but I really think that this is at least to some degree because of the cold showers that help me stay healthy. So keep that in mind. Cold showers can actually prevent sickness. And by the way, there's scientific evidence on that as well, so you can just look that up. By now you probably realize there are so many benefits to cold showering, and if you haven't, then you've probably not been really listening to me for the past few minutes, because I've been talking about it all the time. But there's still something in your way preventing you from just doing it, probably also the reason you have not been doing cold showers already. And that is the fact that the cold is just very uncomfortable. So I'm going to tell you how you can overcome this with 2 simple steps that helped me overcome my fear of the cold water. It's kind of funny how we humans evolved to being scared of something like cold water. It's really weird. Anyways, when I started doing the cold showers, I just feared it so much that I just stood there. I already talked about that in the beginning, but I put my hand in and I realized it was super cold. So I just waited for some miracle to happen to make it feel warm but be cold and have the benefits. I don't know what I honestly expected, but I just stood there next to it. So when I noticed I was procrastinating, I just counted down. 3, 2, 1, bam, hopped in. So I used the 3-second rule, and you can do this very easily also with actually any other thing you're procrastinating about, but just count down from 3 and then go in or do whatever. It basically shuts off your brain, it prevents your brain from thinking about deciding whether to do something or whether to not do something. It just, your brain is just deactivated, you just count down and you just do it. But the thing is, it was so cold that I couldn't really stay in for longer than a few seconds. So I was back at the starting point, basically. What I did to stay in for longer was something that I haven't really thought of for a long time, but I got this from Wim Hof, the expert of pretty much anything cold related. And what I realized from watching his stuff is that breath is really important. Before that, I was always breathing really fast, almost gasping, and that's really bad for enduring cold, which I didn't know. So what I did was I tried to breathe as slowly and calmly as possible, and that helped me stay in for so much longer. It's just, the cold just feels a bit more comfortable, you're not shivering or shaking. So focus on your breath to be calm and slow. Whenever I wake up nowadays, I just walk straight to the shower because it's already a habit for me. I just do it automatically. But how can you get to that point where you just do it without thinking? How can you make this a habit? When I first did my cold showers, I always hopped in for only seconds, and because I just couldn't handle it, like I already told you. And I really felt ashamed of that, and I was questioning if that actually helped anything. But just imagine there's a fat guy on the treadmill for like 5 minutes. Would you tell him that he should be ashamed of himself and it's useless and that he should be doing more? No, you would congratulate him because last month he wasn't even in the gym. So 5 minutes, although it's not optimal, it's progress, right? So 1 second compared to 0 seconds in the cold shower is also progress, right? Think about it. And by the way, you're gonna be surprised how fast you can get from this 1 second to 1 minute or even 5 or 10 minutes if you just keep doing it. So keep this in mind. 1 second is progress. I really wanted to hammer this into your brain because it's important. One day I woke up and I really did not feel at all like doing a cold shower. But when I looked at my habit tracker, it was filled with all these ticks, green ticks everywhere. And I just sat there thinking to myself, do I really want to, cross this with a red pen and ruin my streak and my beautiful habit tracker and my work that I've been putting in for the last few weeks just because I don't feel like it? And, that's when it felt absurd to me to have even thought about not doing it. So if you assume that I did my cold shower right after that, then you're right. So tip number 2 is always track your progress. Before I did my cold showers, I was really skeptical of whether it actually does anything or if it's just some other trend that all these cool influencers that I look up to do. So I went and did my due diligence. I researched a bit and I found a goldmine of all sorts of different benefits, from improving immune system to curing depression and all these sorts of stuff. You're probably thinking right now and telling me this, haven't you already talked about the benefits? Yes, I have, but listen, you're gonna understand. Once I knew of all these amazing benefits and ways it could improve my life, I was so much more motivated to actually try it out and step in the cold shower for the first time than before, when I didn't actually realize how good it was for me. In this video I told you about lots of benefits with cold showering. So what I want you to do now is always keep these benefits in mind, because they're going to motivate you a lot if you know how great it might be for you. The thing is, all these tips I just told you, they help a lot, but without this one tip it's going to be almost impossible to make this a habit. And it's going to be hard to do this in this same video, so I actually made a separate video on this. So click and watch the video on screen right now if you actually want to if you want to master this habit. And by the way, this will help you with every habit, and all the habits you fuck up are probably because you don't keep this thing in mind that I talk about in the video. So go and watch that right now, and I wish you an amazing day, and I hope you will conquer the cold like I did. Take care.